Hey, what up, bitches? No, simple thing. आज का वीडियो मेरे लिए ही है, and अगर किसी को इससे ज्ञान लेना है तो ले लो. But the topic for this video is how to kill your ego. या ego क्यों रखनी है? मतलब basically the entire topic that I'm going to talk about in this video circles around ego. कि मतलब ego का root क्या है, होता क्या है, and उससे मतलब how does it affect your life? तो बेसिकली ईगो होता क्या है? For anyone that doesn't know what an ego is basically a mirror or a curtain your mind or your mind places in front of you, which kind of like blinds you and blurs your reality. It makes you believe in things which are not necessarily true. It makes you do things which aren't normally like the go-to thing that you should do. That's basically what ego is. It's basically like a fucking inflated image. It's an inflated or a deflated image. मतलब it's just not reality. But anyway, तो ego क्यों रखते हैं लोग? Mainly from what I've seen is ego is more of like a superiority type of thing. कि I'm better than you, I'm better than a lot of people. मैं तुमसे ऊपर हूँ, तुमसे बेहतर हूँ. इसीलिए I have an ego. That's the most common way people use ego these days. Basically to show that they are better than them. But in reality, it's all like it's a sham, yaar. Think about it. You have such an ego, but actually, if you actually do the things that you're required to do, you literally cannot develop an ego. If you do it the right way. Like, people develop egos about the most dumbest things I've ever heard. Like, they're too afraid. And here's where, you know, the line is drawn between the right way of going with an ego and the wrong way of going with an ego. The right way of going with an ego is that it makes you take initiative and it gives you confidence to do things that you wouldn't have normally been able to do. Now that is the right way to use ego. That's not exactly ego. There's like some like terminology error in this. It's actually just, it's a boost, right? It gives you confidence to do things which you normally wouldn't have been able to do if in your current state. So that way ego is pretty helpful. But then comes the wrong way of ego, which I see every fucking where, yaar. It's like ego and power trips. People are just hooked on this fucking shit. Ki ego hai and then power, and then usko I need all the power in the world. I need to be the most powerful person in the world. Is game mein bande phas jate hain. They aren't able to like get out of this shit. So basically iska matlab kya the wrong way for ego is where it comes in your way from you doing something which you normally even you know you should do. Yani ki for example, at times, you know, as normal of a person that I am and as open of a person I am, so ego can work against me if I have an ego. It can make me take things which are normally like no one would give a shit about way too seriously. It would, like for example, if I'm like a really pretty person, right, and everyone just compliments me for my looks and shit, and one day on my face ek mota sa pimple nikal aata hai, I'll be the most insecure person ever because people have just put me on a pedestal. And now if I fucking step down, I'm gonna look like an even bigger bitch. Because like people have expectations from me. Similarly, you have expectations from yourself as well. That's why your ego is like counterproductive. In the sense ki, you know, you hold yourself to a certain degree and can't do anything under that. Which according to me is so fucking stupid. Like, irrespective of how fucking talented you are, or how fucking like God gifted you are with whatever, there is no way you're good at everything in life. It's just impossible. कोई ऐसा बंदा है ही नहीं. And if you know a person who's doing this, or if you have some sort of an idea कि this person, celebrity, whatever, famous, is doing this, trust me buddy, you've just fallen into the fucking biggest scam of fucking marketing. Like, this is just the idea that fucking people are selling you these days. But anyway, ego, man, ego is so stupid. Like, listen, this is coming from me. I used to have a massive ego, and then I finally just realized that it's just super counterproductive, no helpful at all, and it's just coming in my way of me doing anything. It is just not even giving me the opportunity to try out new things. Because it's like, if I fail at this new thing that I try, then my ego is going to be hurt, and then I'm going to feel like a bitch. So like, that's where ego comes in the fucking play of like, absolutely just useless. And this idea that I'm better than you, or like, you know, you are inferior to me, or like I just inherently know that somehow I'm just better than you at everything, is so stupid. Like, a person who's better than you shouldn't necessarily be like, I'm better than you. He should be like, I know that I'm better than you, but like, rather than making me feel great about myself, about me being better than you? How can I help this person reach a fucking like reasonable position? It should be about sharing, dude. It's just become already really fucking cutthroat, this ego shit. And that's where, you know, I see the most fucking useless shit. People just trying to fake personalities to like be more powerful and shit. Trust me, buddy, like I can fucking see through that shit. Anyone who has a fucking normal thinking brain and who doesn't fucking have an inflated ego can fucking see through that shit. If you're faking anything, trust me, if you can notice it, odds are probably the other person can also notice it. So like there's no point pretending. So the best way that I've seen that a person should go about it is if you're like mainly ego kicks in when you're usually starting out something new. If you're like already good at something, then you do have an ego, but it's like a very like small or fractional amount compared to when you're starting out something new. Right, for example, I want to start off like say playing guitar. I've never played guitar, and I've always found like people who play guitar really cool, right? So I buy a guitar and I'm like, okay, let's be a rock star next day. And I buy the guitar, but then when I start playing it, I realize that I don't know how to fucking play jack shit. And when I see these tutorials, they're fucking scrambling my brain, and the fucking natural talent that I thought I had is just all in my fucking head. I was living in a fucking fantasy bubble. Then I start feeling like shit. I start self-doubting. I start, you know, comparing myself to other people who know better without actually realizing that those people are also once in the same position as you, and they actually persevered through that fucking shit, and now are in a position where they can play comfortably. And you will also get there if you just put in fucking effort, skill and passion all into it. That's the thing, dude. Like ego is like the perfect marketing if you look at it. Like people are just selling you this dream that if you fucking buy, then you can actually be better than other people. It's not be successful for your own sake. It's be successful from the point of view of others, where others fucking see that, oh, you're so successful, I want to be like you, you are my idol and all this shit. And it's so fucking like, it's such a deluded way of thinking. That's why like I gave up my ego. Like there are times and instances where even I have an ego, but what I do now is I catch myself when my ego starts to fucking that balloon starts to fucking fill with air, and I just fucking like put a fucking pin in it, like, and then, you know, now I'm not afraid of fucking being a moron. Like I know I'm not a moron. Like my parents haven't had me tested or anything yet, but I know I'm not a moron. I know I'm not an idiot. I know I'm pretty smart. Just because I feel. And usually, even if the other person does feel that I'm a moron, big fucking deal. Who gives a shit in the grand scheme of things? Just go out and do shit. Even if you fucking end up a moron. Honestly, times where I felt like I've ended up a moron, like usually I only feel like I was a moron before me actually doing the thing. Once I actually do the thing, it's not that I feel like a moron. It's just I feel accomplished. I feel like I've done something with my life. You know, that's why having an ego is just like a useless fucking clutch, you know? Like why would you want to fucking do that? It's like the way I look at it is, say you're in a racing game, right? Like fucking NFS Most Wanted, right? And you're in the game and you're driving a car. And ego is like a nitrous boost that you click and it gives you like fucking, you can go from 100 top speed to 150 in like 1 second. But the thing is, after that speed runs out, you're going to be fucking back at 100 and you're going to feel like shit. So ego puts you on an unrealistic pedestal that you can't sustain for a long period of time. So you are going to come down from that. And when you come down, the fucking like, the downslide is going to be fucking tragic. Because you've already held yourself to that degree. Think of it like a game, right? You know every game of yours is going to be a high score. And if you hold yourself responsible for every fucking game that you didn't hit a high score, you make yourself feel like shit, you're never gonna fucking be happy in your life. It's gonna be a pretty miserable life. So my main motive for this ego video was don't take yourself too seriously. Don't take life that seriously. Trust me, it's pretty fun if you fucking live one day at a time rather than fucking one day I'll be fucking great. You know, one day I'll be fucking the best in the world. You just see, the world better wait. I'm gonna be the fucking greatest in this. You know, it's just a bullshit way of living. Rather than, you know, setting a goal that's so fucking far-fetched, what I like doing is receiving happiness intrinsically, in the sense that do things that make me internally happy. No what other fuckers are thinking about, what makes me happy. So I live each day and every day, and I make myself happy. I make it a goal. I make it a mission that I need to do things that make me happy. I don't give a fuck what other people think. I mean, I do, but not to the fucking like extreme extent, right? So yeah, fuck your ego, kill your ego. Don't fucking stick to that shit. It's harmful for you. Don't take yourself too seriously, and don't fall in these power trip games. That's the lesson.